Welcome to the Godplane, Episode 5, The Rector's Recalcitrance. Bo, you're home. Your actual home. You hear your parents in the other room, talking. Your mother is laughing. The world seems bigger than it did just a few moments ago, but that's because you're much smaller. You're a child again. Tell us, what does young Bo look like? And what do you do as you suddenly find yourself back in your childhood bedroom?
Young Bo is probably about the size of a human teenager, but the look on her face is one that's obviously much, much younger. Big, giant eyes, kind of marveling at the array of colorful building blocks in front of her. And she's got like sheets of paper all over the floor with crayons designing interesting, buildings and libraries and all kinds of cool places. And she's very smiley, very animated. She's like kind of talking to herself as she's like putting all these blocks up, and in her room you can see there's like books with like layers of dust on them, and like there's dolls with like their hair all kind of knotted and matted in corners. But the only thing that really looks like it's used is like the paper, the pencils, and the blocks. Yeah, I think she'd probably be having like a bowl of fruit as a snack or something, just like really excitedly just hanging out with herself.
Your mother steps in, looking quite far down to you. How are you doing? Do you need a snack? Is that enough?
I'm okay. Yes.
Would you like to help us cook dinner? We're going to start soon. Or would you
I
rather
don't
draw?
know. I mean, I want to, but also, I might not be very good.
You don't have to be good at something to enjoy it. And to be good at something, you usually have to be bad at it first.
She's saying I should just try.
Try, and try to have fun.
Okay. And she kind of stands up and like dusts herself off. She's wearing like a knee-length skirt that has like a really nice like kind of intricate print on it, and like a little off-the-shoulder top. And her hair is just kind of this mess of curls, like kinky curls kind of all over her hair and like in her face and like in her eyes. She's like constantly like blowing it out of the way. And she picks up one of the puzzle pieces, like one of the building pieces, her favorite. It's like a little half moon shaped one that has like a cute carving, like a little keystone, and puts in her pocket before joining her mom.
Mom kind of puts her hand on your head and then goes down and squeezes your shoulder and guides you into the kitchen. And as you step away, you hear... No, you feel something cold run through you. You close your eyes involuntarily against the shiver. And when you look again, everything is different. Your house is there, but it's silent. Silent as the grave. You know that this is that day. This is the day you're about to receive this news. And even knowing that it's about to come, the grief is upon you. Raw, the loneliness. All at once, crushing and endlessly vast. An ache that won't stop. You look down at yourself, as if from above and behind your own body. The heartbreaking news a younger you is about to receive. What do you see as you look at this bow.
She looks like she knows something's coming. Like she can hear the echo. There's a warmth that the house has and that the stone of the house has when her family is inside. And she doesn't detect that. And she knows that normally that kind of excitement of like, they're coming back is there. But the fact that like no one is around, it's not often that she's just by herself like that. I imagine she's probably looking frantically all over the house to see if even a neighbor, someone, you know, people come in and out all the time, chosen family, found family. But there's nobody.
There's a knock at the door as you feel yourself slip back into that bow. You know what's about to happen. You know who's standing on the other side. The news he's going to bring. And what you do in reaction to it. Do you answer the door?
I think I stand there for a minute. I walk to it. I place my hand on the door. And my eyes start to go red. I start to see just this film of just rage. And I struggle before opening the door to calm down.
You fight to control yourself. And then you open the door. And a man stands before you. No. Looking at him now, a monk stands before you. Only there's this sudden horrible scream in your mind, and you don't see that person. You see the corpse you left behind. Broken, bloodied, crumpled, utterly ruined. And yet he stands looking down at you. One eye is missing, and a trail of something terrible leaks down his cheek. And yet his expression is soft as he speaks. You are Bo, yes?
Yes.
Bo, I'm so sorry. You blink and he's whole again. Just a normal human. Looking sadly but kindly up at you. You know the news he's delivering, even as his voice fades away, replaced by a ringing, rising in your ears. It blinds you, overwhelms you for a moment. And as it fades, you hear him say, I need you to come with me. We're going to take you to your new home. What do?
This is my home. I live here. This is my home. All my things are here. My family is here. I don't care what you say. I'm not going with you.
Oh. In this moment, make me a wisdom or a history check.
Natural 1.
Natural 1. There's something in this memory that you can't quite place. There's something important, but all you know is what's about to come next. How he is patient and gentle for a while. Until, in frustration, he reaches out to take your wrist firmly in his hand. And how you react, lost in your grief.
I'm not coming with you! You can't take me, no! I'm not coming with you. And I kind of try to fight until I lose my patience.
In this moment, do you go with the memory or do you try to fight it?
I try really hard. I know he's not the person who did this. I know he's trying to help me. I recognize this as a sort of kindness, but there's no empathy. There's no empathy in those eyes. Just softness. Kindness, yes, but no empathy.
Give me a wisdom saving throw in this moment.
5.
You try to fight this memory, but you cannot stop it. It is history already written. And try as you might, the grief and the rage, it is all too much. Much too much. You watch this scene unfold. And time passes. You find yourself suddenly, again, in control. But that corpse is at your feet. What do you do?
I think back to the day that it happened, and after it happened, I couldn't stop screaming. I just was so angry and scared and shocked, and I remember just like screaming until I couldn't scream anymore, leaving him there and going back into my room and going back into my life, into my world. Now I pick him up and try to figure out where to take him.
Give me a wisdom saving throw. I'm sorry, a wisdom check.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. You pick him up and you hold him in your arms, and you're determined to make this right. And you start to step, and you step out of yourself, and you watch from a distance, from above, as you scream, and you scream. And the worst day of your life becomes an even worse day. And time passes, and all you can do is watch. And then, after a time, and you don't know how long, 2 figures approach the house. They're dressed in that same garb, only now you notice there are misty silver butterflies attached to their belts. You see one of them, a tall woman, lean but powerfully built, the sides of her head shaven, her hair woven into a protective braid. She drops to her knees beside this man and cries out, and rushes to the corpse you left behind. Her wails of distress echo around you. There's that ringing in your ears again. It starts to overwhelm you, and your vision blurs. But with that 20 from before, you look just past her, and you see the other figure. Pale skin and wild curly hair. Their eyes are hard and hateful. They look at this house you once called home, that place you loved so much, and their lips move. The sound, that ringing in your ears, is relentless and overpowering, and you can't hear, but you see their hands move. Give me a religion or an arcana check.
16.
16. You watch those sigils move. They're casting something, a spell or a curse, and it settles into the very stones of your home, the foundation of that place on which you built your soul. And then you hear a as the walls of your home start to crumble. And you come back to yourself in the Godplane. A pounding headache slowly receding, and a phantom ringing still filling your ears, and that loneliness all around you. And welcome to the Godplane, Episode 5, Rector's Recalcitrance. I can't say that word. This is an original 5e horror campaign. I'm your humble Dungeon Master, Purcell, and before we proceed, I want to give you some warnings about the content of this adventure. The Godplane is a horror campaign, and that means there will be elements which some viewers might find disturbing. I've worked with our incredible cast and know their lines and veils, and we have a system in place so we can quickly nope out if we need to, but I don't know yours. So I encourage you to please approach the stream with caution and take care of your own mental health. Take a break if you need to. That out of the way, let's meet our incredible cast. Please tell us who you are, your pronouns, who you're playing, and where we can find you, starting with Candace.
Hi. I'm back for more pain and sadness. My name is Candace the Magnificent. My pronouns are they, she. I am playing Bo, the Minotaur fighter. Her pronouns are she, her. And you can find me at that Candace girl on Twitter, at Candace Magnificent everywhere else. I am excited to cry some more.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never done that to you. Piper.
Hi everyone, I'm Piper. You can find me at Maddie Matihi on Twitter and Matihi at Twitch. I use they, he pronouns, but tonight I'm playing Peppa, the Geppettan Soul Knife rogue who uses she, they pronouns.
Amazing. Brian.
Hi. Oops. Sorry. I do this every call. Sorry. I am Brian. I am known as Urban Bohemian everywhere. I am playing Phineas, a very normal bard. Phineas's pronouns are they, them. My pronouns are he, they.
And last but certainly not least, Kerri.
I am Kerri Smith. I use she, her pronouns, and you can find me at Kerri Smith 2012 on Twitter and YouTube. And today I'm playing Dylan, who uses they, she pronouns and is a half-demon sorcerer.
And we'd like to give a special thanks to our sponsor, Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. Use !code in chat, and they'll come up down there to redeem an Electrum chest. Thank you so much for sponsoring us. Coming very soon, you might see a familiar-ish face in that game. You know, that's pretty heckin' cool. We'd also like to thank Bardly.io for the background music and Ghost Stories Incorporated for our theme song, which you can hear right now. Special thanks to Cozy Spoon for the amazing artwork that you see, and for Jason Wooldridge for the overlay and graphic design all around. It's amazing. Thank you. Also, thank you to our mods, Emily, Jason, if he's hanging out, and David. As I said before, I'm Kay. I'm your Dungeon Master. My pronouns are she, they, and the best place to find me is at KDamnFear on the Twits. You can not see, but in chat you can see my co-DM, David Lee, aka Full Rubber Ducky, who is co-DMing and also co-wrote this adventure. If you would like to make this just a little bit less terrible for these players, there's a couple ways to do it. First off, you could admire Brian's magically vanishing mug. I mean, that's just incredible. I love it. It's so cool with the mist. There's a little hole in Phineas. Now we all know. You can redeem channel points to give everyone dream shards, which will give them a +1 to any d20 roll. David is helping keep track of all that, so I don't have to, because I wouldn't be able to. It would be full panic. You can also subscribe, and that will go towards the pot. And also, we have a Ko-fi link. If you would like to donate through there, you will help unlock missed caches of really useful items that, maybe will make the rest of the party try to put an unconscious person's hand in a box to make that happen. It's pretty funny. It's pretty great. I'm here for it.
One time.
all of that and the rewards, we're almost at our goal, so all of that is explained there. We are so close to unlocking the last 2 magical items. And with that, I think I've talked enough. Let's get back to being mean to these lovely people. So we will do that right after this. And we're back. Thank you so much, Retro Crystal, for the raid. Welcome, raiders. This is, I'm going to say it again just because we've got new folks. This is a horror campaign, so there might be some things that are a little bit more intense and disturbing than what you would normally see in this kind of game. So just please take care of yourselves. Thank you for hanging out. So, previously on the Godplane, our party was summoned to this, the space between dreams, by Vassal, the voice of the dreaming god. They were tasked with stopping a nightmare who seeks to wake the god, but were separated from Vassal and found themselves, after some various trials, in the home of Drixalia. Drixalia assured you all that her house was a place of safety and rest for dreamers such as yourselves. But you were all somewhat dissuaded from that notion when she grew suspicious of you. She grabbed something from deep inside each of you, except for you, Peppa, and you realized that you would not be able to leave this house until you completed the tasks she set before you. After releasing something large and growling at the prompting of a ghostly child, decisions were made. You each completed your tasks, and all of you found yourselves in this very creepy house. Bo, you blink and come back to yourself. You are standing in this haunted, creepy, terrible house, surrounded by your friends, your traveling companions, and still feeling the effects of this memory, which seems to have been expanded thanks to the influence of this misty place. Dylan has 3 books in her possession in addition to the one they've been carrying, and you all have to decide what you're going to do next.
Peppa starts pacing around the floor, the kind of readings into the books that Dylan had found about Tazek has kind of lit a flame inside them. One that does not burn for excitement, but one of them that burns for vengeance. And Peppa looks up to the group, unblinking, button eyes, says,
"Now, I know that the book mentioned that there was some sort of library within here. Do we want to attempt to find it?"
My only fear with that, and you kind of see Dylan like kind of stumbling over a little bit, kind of using the wall to hold themselves up, wiping a little bit of blood from their nose from the damage they took from reading those books. Just kind of wipe some blood. It seemed like the search for this library drove this person. Well, they weren't exactly of sound mind towards the end.
Perhaps we don't look that hard. Or perhaps we simply see if it is something that seems to exist.
Agreed. Should we go to the attic then?
Oh goodness, I forget. Is that where it indicated it was?
Attic or basement?
Ah.
Both are bad choices.
I kind of like snap out of it when I hear you guys mention like the rooms of the house, like us moving. Is there something that I can roll to know like where this room would be more likely to be, being an architect and a builder?
I will let you roll intelligence plus your proficiency.
Okay.
As a heads up, audience, we are having a small snafu with Google, so the captions are going to vanish for a second and then come back. It is not a big deal. It's going to take 2 seconds to fix.
15.
15. So you've got the little layout of the map, and you kind of start looking at it.
Can I use a dream shard?
If you would like.
I haven't used one yet, I don't think. What do I get if I do a dream shard?
You pump it, you add a +1.
All right, yeah, 16. I feel like that
16.
sounds better. That's my favorite number.
So you look at this map, and actually, for the audience, I don't think I set up the new captions, but I can fix that pretty quick, I think. Here we go. You look at this map, and you start looking at the layout. You start looking at where everything is. It's certainly not in the upper right corner where that icon verb, where the conservatory is.
Mm-hmm.
It would make sense if it was near the playroom. On the left side of the house would kind of make sense. It could also be that bottom right expanding something out, but there's nowhere logically that it looks like it should be. There's no like, aha! This house kind of looks complete as it is.
I don't mean to throw a wrench in things. As much as I would like to get out of here, what if these unmarked rooms are where we need to be? They don't
If you're
even look
looking
like
for the
they're supposed to
library,
be.
it's not here anymore. You hear just a little voice sitting near your foot. And Peppa, you hear and see this too. But
Yes,
Phineas
I
and
am.
Dylan, you do not.
Could you tell us where the library is? You just see like Bo, like all 6'2" of her, like, do you see? Can you tell me where I can find the library?
Are you asking the house?
Oh, just one moment, Dylan. Yes.
He can understand you fine.
Yeah, I'm not.
I thought all you could do is
You
snicker.
You don't have to. I'm trying really hard to like you, and you're making it very difficult for me.
You laughed at me. I'm very sensitive.
I did
about
not
these
laugh at you.
things.
I never laughed at you. I laughed at them because they were being very funny, and I just thought I would like to be in on the joke. And I thought maybe I could have some fun with the group, and then you got mad and judged me. And he kind of puts his little maw together, and his little ears kind of go half back.
everyone else just sees like this kind of plum blush rising like from the bottom of Bo's face, like slowly creeping like up and at the tips of her ears. I didn't mean to make you feel bad. I know what that's like. I would never want to do that to you. I apologize. I'm new at friends, but if you'd like to be friends, I will try. Peppa seems to like you, and I like Peppa.
The rest of you, yeah, they're talking at something that is not there.
And sorry, Peppa can see Cat, right?
Peppa can see and hear Cat.
Well, if the library is not here then, Lancelot, how exactly are we to find information on,
Right.
killing the nightmare?
I forgot what I came here for. So she banished the library.
She is in the owner of the home.
Yeah, Drixalia. She's a real grump. She's a real grump.
Where's Drixalia?
I like this energy, but I'm not sure where it's coming from.
Drixalia attempted to hurt my friends, and I'm going to hurt Drixalia. Is where it's coming from.
Not sure that's true, but that's not my can of worms. So, if you want to get to the library, she banished it like to this underground like Pocket E dimension thing. And so to get to the library, you have to go to the attic, which normally you can't. But you can now because she likes you again.
That's good, isn't it?
And Peppa looks up between Phineas and Dylan as though they know what's going on.
You can't see the cat. You can hear it.
Okay. This is the only time I'm going to say this. What cat?
The cat.
Well, it's quite small. It can be rude, but apparently also helpful.
I was only being rude because you were being rude. You kind of started it, so...
Don't fight.
Yes. We're putting it behind us. I was rude to the cat. Perhaps that's why you cannot see them, excuse me. I apologize. I did not know.
They can't smell me. They can't see me because they smell like pink.
Oh,
Kind of turns his little nose up.
that's unfortunate.
What did pink smell like?
You know, pink.
Oh. All right. Well, once we get to the attic, then what?
Well, then you go down. I know it doesn't make much sense, but I mean, what here really does make sense to dreamers.
I just look at Peppa like,
Okay, so we go up and then we go down. Is that it?
I mean, you'll find there what you're going to find. By the way, and he kind of turns and looks up at Peppa. Tazik's a prick.
I know. Is Tazik alive? Here.
Kind of depends on your definition. He kind of like puts one ear back, one eye kind of squinted.
If you can tell me, the cat, where is Tazik?
Well, right now, out kind of doing her thing. And that's not good for anyone. But, I mean, I think you'll get an idea real soon. So,
Good.
Tazik's a prick, and I would love to, help out. If you find, you just let me know. I'm happy to help. And you, Biggin, and kind of settles way back and almost like falls over, and kind of settles their little paws in front of them again. As much dignity as they can. That's one name. gonna be honest, I really don't like appealing to multiple people at a time, so this is a rare thing for me, but we got off on a bad foot. I like names. I want to make a deal. I want to help. If you would like to be able to, do a little bit more, same deal. Peppa knows the deal. I can help. You want to do more damage, don't you?
I mean,
And
yes,
he
but I
doesn't
don't have any.
eyebrows, so his eyes just kind of go wider and smaller as if he's wiggling his brows.
I do not have power like Peppa has. What could I possibly give you?
Everyone has power. You just
don't. Are we making a deal with the cat right now?
smells like pink. Don't trust. Don't trust. Smells like pink.
With the cat.
Can you tell me more about this pink, please?
You've
What?
been
What?
here. You know
Now
about
you're talking
the
about.
pink.
First you're seeing cats, now you're seeing colors? What?
You
Well,
smell
I-
like pink.
Yes, unfortunately, and that is why you cannot see him. Them, excuse me. May I ask your pronouns, cat?
Oh, he's fine.
Good. Okay. Yes. So he has told me that you unfortunately smell like pink, and he will not reveal himself to you.
Of the number of unfathomable things that I have completely failed to understand since we were all brought here, you smell like pink has suddenly gone to the top of the list.
I understand, and I agree.
Dogs so fancy, don't they?
They do.
Hmm.
Oh, Lancelot, I understand that we have a deal, and that's great. I do not mean to offend you, but
And
oh,
it goes
please
to
don't
start
take
rubbing
this
against
deal.
you and purring a little. Oh, come
I'm
on.
not.
Well, that's quite nice.
You haven't even
No.
tried it yet. You haven't even.
I will.
I scratched like both of his cheeks, like right where the mouth is, just like
And they're
stroking his-
so warm. Like they're so warm to the touch as they just.
I wish I could say
And
this is the
ears
weirdest
go
thing I've
back.
seen here.
May I ask?
That.
Could you
Yeah,
come
exactly
back and
that.
ask me again later?
Well, sure, but once you head down, you're gonna regret it.
What does the cat know about the pink?
They're not saying. They're just saying that I might need more power. When we go to the attic. And I'm wondering if.
Oh no.
Well,
Could you come back, please? Please come back later.
if you need me, just call. And they're gone. And Peppa, your hands are just empty.
All right. Well, he said that Drexalia is apparently less upset with us, which seems good. I did not take the deal with the cat, which seems good.
I can confirm.
But we have to go up and then down. That does not make any sense, but
Is it like a maze?
I think so. Apparently, this library was banished. I don't know what goes into that, but it is banished, and now we must go up to go down.
Ugh, I just hope it's not like the closet because no one should go back in there.
I do not recommend it.
Oh, I came out when I was 5, so it's been a while.
You stay out here where you belong.
I will. If I could wink, I would.
So, we have to go upstairs to go downstairs. Or up to go down. This sounds like a riddle.
I mean, it does. Maybe something interesting might be up there. Something that can help us. Although I will say, he didn't seem to believe that I might have what it takes to protect everyone when we go down to the library. I don't know what awaits us there.
Well, none of us know what awaits us there. But did the cat say what awaits us there?
Peppa, no?
No, Not really. I'm still stuck on this whole pink thing.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm stuck on too. Do you remember when I disappeared and then I found you guys again, or you found me again? Well, the pink, like the pink mist was guiding me. So if this cat doesn't like me because of the pink mist or whatever, how can we trust what the cat's saying?
Well, it doesn't like either of you.
I do recall there being aspects of pink in when we were in the lab and I was here and not here. I do remember there being elements of some kind of pink energy or power, but I have no idea what it meant.
Maybe two opposing powers in the mist. Both helpful, but both against each other.
Well, sounds like we know who the cat is sided with. Or at least sided against, which fair enough, I'm used to that.
Do not worry. If the cat had attempted to come for you, I would kill the cat.
Now I have invisible assassins to worry about. Thank you. That's
Don't
very
worry.
helpful.
We'll
I'm a
always
visible
tell you
one.
when he's here.
Great.
Attic?
Sure.
Yes. Are we where I forget where are we?
You are pretty much right outside the master bedroom. I will also ask, do you check the compass?
Oh, yes, because the last that Phineas checked it was before we came in here. So, and it was pointing down. So, yes, checking one more time.
So you open this compass, and annoyingly, yes, it is still doing the thing where it is pointing straight down. However, now that blue needle is back, pulsing excitedly, and it's pointing almost straight across, back towards that guest room that you all stayed in before.
Well, if we are going up to go down, and Phineas has not been shy about indicating for everyone to see. If we're going up to go down, that would match this. And I believe the room that we stayed in might be safe again if we need a place to stay. I think I'm starting to understand this.
I could use some rest.
Yes, you are most injured. We have
Rest.
those shards that we can give you to help. Maybe?
Well, maybe, I mean, as long as we have a place to rest, maybe save them for whatever is down there.
Oh, okay.
Or up there, or...
Sideways.
As
Yeah.
confused as you, honestly, yes. If we're... I'll wait to see what we decide to do.
Let's go to the guest room. I think it's a good idea for Dylan's sake, especially.
If we are wandering past the sitting room, Phineas is going to take a closer look at the portrait.
Okay.
And the man in the portrait. And Phineas will take an action to change their face to resemble the face of the man that we can't like just to kind of hold it if possible and then look away from the portrait.
Okay. Tricksy changeling things. I approve. So, you take an action and you solidify yourself into this face. And then you look away and you feel your features slipping. Do you instinctively slip back into Phineas, or do you slip into your natural form?
It slips back to the natural form again for a moment.
Also, give me, just for giggles, give me a performance check so I can see. I know, this is going to
Giggles.
be the most difficult role of the evening. I gotta give you some wins on occasion, don't I?
It is a 12.
12. You all see. It's not bad. If you look at this face, you look away and it's gone, but you look at the shape of Phineas's face, and it's like, yeah, okay, that's like a wanted poster sketch. The main details are there. But even so, you can't hold on to it, Phineas, unless you're looking, even if you're locked into that form.
That is distressing. Phineas changes back to the form that most of you met them in. That's very powerful, whatever it is. And I'm not sure if it's because something wants us to forget, or perhaps something else wants to forget themselves so badly.
I know what that feels like. To want to forget yourself.
I'm so sorry, Bo.
It's all right. I just wonder what... Maybe that's why we go through these trials. Maybe this person missed their chance?
The person of the house. Maybe. But we might find answers in that library, potentially. Then again, I don't know if we should be reading too many books.
And looks over to Dylan.
And I think for a moment, Dylan, like in this conversation, has a look of like genuine care for a moment, and then it just slowly dissolves, and they just turn and start walking for the guest house.
All right. So you all make your way. You turn right down the hall. Everyone, I just want a perception check just to see if the dice are going to tell a story as you turn down this hallway.
I got a 17.
15.
Dirty 20.
9.
Even that 9 is enough. You come around the corner and you look down the hall, and there's a stairway there at the end of the hall that was not there before.
Well, this seems uncharacteristically inviting of this house. But you said we had to go up, yes?
Yep, up to go down.
Would it be alright if we made that a later problem?
Oh no, that is no problem.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
So you all make your way down the hall. And just as you're heading into the room, echoes down the hall from behind you.
Oh,
Go,
quick!
go.
Quick! Quick, yes.
I think Dylan heads in, holds onto the door ready to close it, but wants to wait and see if they can see it.
How long do you wait?
If it sounds like it's getting closer and I still can't see it, I'll close the door, but I want to wait to get a visual before I slam that shut.
Give me either perception or arcana.
17.
Which one was that?
Perception.
Perception. Okay. You are looking down this hallway, and you hear it. It's coming. You hear a footstep and a dragging scrape of a chain. But there's no shadow. You are pretty sure that even though it's getting closer, you do not see anything.
Okay, slam the door shut.
Yeah. That sigil glows momentarily. And you are in a safe space.
All right, well, if we want to rest for a while, how does that compass look?
And once again, bringing out the compass to look at to look at both needles, but more importantly, again, to look at the blue pulsing one to see if it gives us the same urgency, more or less, of safety.
That blue one is there, and it's doing that exciting pulse. Again, the pulse isn't the same as when you're in a mist tunnel. This just seems very excited, and it's pointing again close to the ground, just like before.
I'm gonna look again where it's pointing close to the ground, kind of, doing the dowsing, bit of dowsing with it, like,
Yeah.
someone left something for us again.
Oh,
And sure enough, you get to the spot, and it pulses, and then it opens, and as it does, again, you hear those, "We believe in you, you've got this, yes, thank you, we're so excited." And you find another miscache granted to you by Twitch chat.
Funnily enough, I think this is the first one Dylan's actually seen.
Yes. You were gone for the first and asleep for the second.
What is that?
it's the box that we found the items in.
Who's leaving it?
I don't know, but they're very nice.
Perhaps there's energy of other dreamers? They're helping us?
I mean, knowing that we know about Bice, I'd say it's entirely possible.
Do you think? Well,
And Peppa will look up to Phineas.
why don't you get it?
All right.
Well, I'll get it, but you take it. I mean, I'm sorry.
And yeah, based on the boxes that we have seen before, and that they seem to be at least safe or meant for us, Phineas just opens it.
You take it and you open it, and within you find another one of those greater healing potions, but the misty ones. That again, please mark separate from any other potions that you brought with you. And again, you have that understanding. There's something else in here that is going to form to whomever reaches in.
With a little bit of trepidation, Phineas looks at the others and kind of just like wincing reaches into the box.
You close your hand around something and you instinctively touch it delicately. You find a small, unfired clay figure. It's delicate and intricately carved hawk. You hold it in your palm, and even without touching it, it breaks apart as if something burst from the inside. The pieces in your hand, however, do not look like they came from that figurine. Instead, they're reminiscent of a vulture as they lay in your palm. Just as recognition of the now shattered vulture shape dawns on you, the pieces dissolve into mist. Something creative settles in the back of your mind. And once per long rest, you can restore 2 bardic inspirations.
Phineas looks to the others and I feel as though it's a message, but I'm not quite sure what it means.
Is it saying something? Or just metaphorical?
And almost unintentionally, naturally, Phineas adopts this manner of looking down even more so at Peppa. Metaphorically, of course.
Oh,
Sorry.
sorry.
That was more on me than you.
Oh, okay.
It reminds me of a story from long ago. Perhaps when there's time, or when we simply need to pass the time, I'll relay pieces of it.
I would love to hear.
Dylan starts getting comfortable. Well, we have some time now.
That's true, too.
That little pillow fort is still there.
Peppa will like climb up to where Dylan is and say,
I know you have a distant, you don't have to distant offer, but if you do need some comfort, I'm very plush, very squishy.
Sure. This is the first time I'm actually like getting comfy and not feeling like I'm dying. So, yeah.
Peppa smiles widely, those kind of stars shining a little bit brightly in their void of a mouth. And just like come over and allow Dylan to squeeze them.
Dylan's just looking at Phineas expectantly.
Story time.
Phineas is, well, Brian is currently looking for the thing so that he can actually remember the things that would be at this point. So you can see Phineas, like, piecing together meanings and significance and just trying to understand why or what this would mean. And also those sirens making me laugh because it's not me this time.
I am muted, so while you all can hear it, the scream cannot.
It's not necessarily a pleasant story. It's like there are a lot of myths of time and creation and morality and good and evil, and this is one about evil. And it's a tale of Nephthys. Wow, words. Nephthys. I'm not going to be able to say this correctly each time, but that's okay. And how she stood in opposition to the wicked Neith. And look, Neith was the creator of the world, obviously. She governed everything, but she wasn't exactly a kind creator or ruler. And Neith, the weaver, sat in her web, and she wished her will to be enforced upon all. But Nephthys stood in opposition. And again, thinking of the figurine and the pieces, she had her hawks. And they stood in opposition to the Weaver. The Weaver wished everyone to follow her will, her rule, her law. She wanted everyone, I suppose, to be a part of her great creation, her web. The hawks and needs the Weaver's, what were they? Yes, the cutters.
Rippers. We are rippers, not cutters.
Oh. Well, I was going to ask if the story was familiar to you, but then you said we?
Yes. Part of some parts of what I can remember before I was this. I've always served the Weaver dutifully. So has my family. And your Nethys, these hawks, we defended the lands from them. For they tried to stand outside the wheels of fate, the web of fate. Tried to defy it.
Well, I don't imagine it turned out well for anyone involved.
The hawks, they left. Then a new enemy appeared. The undead. They became the new enemy of the Weaver.
And Phineas is just sort of leant over, just kind of like almost handed the talking stick over to Peppa at this. And I mean, I know that something occurred that brought the undead to be, but that
Tazit did.
Yes, I can never remember the name. It's almost as though it shouldn't be uttered.
I do not fear names. I do not know whether the war between those in the sky and us on the ground was just, but it is what the Weaver decreed and what we fought. But the undead, legions of friends from aeons past, have been brought back to life with sickening magics. The wars were very bloody. Many fell, and there was just more and more for their own flock. I did not know that it was Tazit who did this, nor did I remember that I was part of the war against those in the sky. I thought this was before my own time, but it was not.
I don't know if I can say that. No, I mean, I cannot say that this is a good ending. But in the tales that I've heard, this new threat, this final enemy of the damned, caused Neith and Nephthys to put aside their own differences for the sake of the world. As far as anyone knows, they've gone to wherever gods go to.
The cabin?
Not familiar with that term.
Oh, the cabin is where the Weaver resides. It's where she takes her silks and intertwines the various threads of each and every person in existence together, crosses them over. And our threads are most likely intertwined here.
Yes. Pardon the phrase, I can see where the god complex would come from. Regardless, I do believe that, and many believe that they still lend their power, they lend their guidance, they lend their blessings to anyone who would oppose the threat of the risen dead.
I will say, though there is no malice towards those of the sky, not with the threat that is now. The Weaver is what keeps me going. My belief that whatever work I need to accomplish is not done. But I do not know where we will be after all this. Though every fight that we enter, there are parts of me that are slipping away. I do not know how much longer I have, but I hope to see all of you out.
What do you mean?
Peppa clasp their hands together, and as they part them, you see that kind of shard generate in their hand, that iridescent shard. A very quick flash of some sort of scene plays out. And this one, you see a woman with long brown hair, this point kind of putting it up into a circular braid. You see another woman with kind of long blonde hair braided at the side. They are sitting next to each other at a vanity, kind of giggling with each other, telling jokes, and you see them laughing in this image. And Peppa says,
Every time I use one of these, another part of me slips away. There have been many parts that I've lost, and more so to come. But I feel this is my purpose, now to defeat this nightmare, save the dreaming, and get us out. And I'm happy with that.
Forgive me, I am quite new, but shouldn't we try to help our friends, not just consign them to whatever future awaits them? Isn't that why Bice is still here? Surely we must be better than those who came before us.
Basal didn't seem to indicate that we were her first choice. To be quite honest, her demeanor seemed as though she was at a loss for choice. So I don't know that we're better, but I do know that whatever this is, I want us to get through it and return. And they look at Peppa without losing any more of ourselves than this place has already taken from us.
I would rather not lose any more of myself either. There is one way, potentially. I felt it with Bice. The soul that she had was tenuous, was not holding on to her form. It was this feeling that if I chose to, could have assumed that form for myself. But I could not do that to her. If we run into anyone else, this might be the only way to keep myself from losing any more parts.
I can find you someone. We're in this misty world full of nonsense and terrors and feats of just amazingness. Anything here should be possible.
I
Even
hope so.
this.
I do want to let you all know that meeting you all, even under these circumstances, has meant the absolute world to me. Each of you hold a very special place in my heart.
Bo doesn't know what to say. So she kind of just bows her head a little bit and wipes her, scrubs her cheek. And then with permission puts her arm into Phineas's arm and pulls them in a little bit. And then goes to grab Dylan and then nods to Peppa for a group hug.
Peppa will 100% go in for it.
Is this all
Dylan
right?
is very stiff, but is allowing it, yes.
Friendship is weird, but good.
It is. Are
As
you
you
all right
will.
there, Dylan? Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. I thought I remembered what the sword did, and I completely forgot.
Well, as you're pondering the sword, which you should use while you make camp, just gonna say, just throwing it out there. And Manhattan, of course, wants to be loud right then. Bo and Phineas, I would like for both of you to make me either a wisdom or an intelligence check. And Phineas, I would also like for you to make me either a history or a religion check.
Okay, so wisdom
19.
is 8.
Wisdom.
What was your wisdom, Candace? I'm sorry.
19.
Okay, Phineas, you're really stuck on the sword. Bo, you do listen to people a lot, so it makes sense that this... It does occur to you that Drexalia did say that many dreamers came through here, and she did take pride in giving them comfort. And your mind goes back to all of those portraits lining the hallway of that closet. Those nearly endless portraits. And I will say, Brian, if you recognized any of those names, your character can have that knowledge of them as legends and myth in your world.
Oh, did you also want a different roll from me?
Either history or religion.
Oh, they're both equally bad. Okay.
It's not a high DC.
Okay. I told a god story, so we'll go with religion. 18.
Fitting, because you did just tell the god story. And as you're sitting here, being half bear hugged, it occurs to you, Peppa said we were rippers. The story that you just told was not history from 50 years ago. It was not history from 100 years ago. This is creation myth. This is when the gods still walked the earth. And that thought settles in your mind as you ponder the sword.
Oh.
Can I tell you all, there were, paintings in the closet. There was a long hallway and paintings. I didn't recognize anyone. I'm not sure what it means. Phineas, did you see the same?
Yes. Endless. Just, I felt like we were walking. Well, I know I was walking for such a long time before I found myself back with everyone. And so many faces and so many names.
Did you know anyone?
Some of them seemed familiar. Kinley.
I do remember that one. Beautiful portrait.
Catty Bree. And Dibs, because I remember it being a very funny name, but I'd heard it somewhere before.
And there was a certain Weathermay Foxgrove.
That name was far too long for anyone to remember.
It holds no significance to me.
Jennifer, yes, Jennifer. Jennifer Weathervane. No, wait. Jennifer, it was Foxglove? No, Jennifer Weathernay Foxgrove.
Foxgrove.
Oh, goodness.
That's a name.
That is a name. But I hadn't seen the faces, but I definitely heard the names before.
Then, were any of those names in your book?
Maybe, you can look back through them if you want. And I just start kind of like plopping them out.
For the sake of time and narrative, you don't necessarily find them in the book. But, again, if your characters, if you as the player know any of these characters from D&D lore, you know the story of the Weathermay Foxgrove sisters. You know the story of Dritzt and the companions as myth and legends. Not necessarily real people, but are the kind of things that dreams are built out of. And you, depending upon your personal knowledge, you don't have to pretend to know, because not every world would know these. But if you know them, you know that they are the thing of dreams, the things that heroes aspire to be.
I think more familiar are the names of those gods that list that came from the book. Those names are very familiar. But I don't know if it implies that are they legends because they were dreamers?
If anyone would like to sit down with the books that Dylan had, that sheet of paper, and take some time to do a religion check, and I will let you all roll to assist if anyone would like to help anyone else. Spend some time studying, doing some book learning.
Yeah, I think there's this accidental study party happening where we're now all like sitting crisscross on the floor and going through books and stuff.
And it's like the cool best slumber party after a group hug, because you're all like
yeah,
cozy.
Can Peppa sit in someone's lap? Yay.
Yeah, we are definitely
Yeah.
We're definitely doing the study, like, as we're winding down, we're definitely doing a study montage. Absolutely.
Yeah, your bow is not brilliant, so
I like
I'll
to
be the
think that Bo
chair.
contributed by pulling out the sword and
I pulled out the sword after asking everyone because I only have one, I think, charge left after this.
no, you've got one after this.
And then I probably make a really cool like house or something out of all the books that have been cast aside. Like I open them up and I stack them real cool. That's my contribution to the group.
So you're settling in with this kind of faint blue flickering flame coming out from around the sword. It's almost like a campfire, but also a slumber party. The weird wonderfulness that is the Godplane. Who's doing the rolls?
I have rolled religion. I do have advantage on it.
You do?
I got a dirty 20.
Dirty 20? Anyone
Can we
else?
all roll?
Yeah.
I'll roll.
Yeah.
We can absolutely do a group check here.
That's a 19.
19.
All right. 15.
So you're all kind of contributing with Bo, like helping make things pretty as you're going through and reading and comparing. And all of these books that you have so far are by Tazik. Except for that one torn page of it. You just know, you don't know how you know, but you just know that it is Visal's prayer book, right? It's a page from that. And you're looking at this and there's handwritten lists of names, many of which are familiar, some of which are not. And you might even, Dylan, do you go and reference your own journal at some point? You know,
I think so, yeah.
I feel like there's may as well be red string on the wall as you're all trying to figure it out. And with that successful of a group check, something occurs to you. It almost seems like this list of names is something that Visal has written, as if she had asked people the names of their god and written it here. As if that had some significance to her, even though this prayer book was dedicated only to Ayuith, the dreaming god. And I don't know that you, in world, have enough to concretely come to why that might be. But I will leave that to you all to speculate on. Anything else you would like to do before you settle in for a long rest, much needed for some of you?
Bo is already drowsing.
Yeah, I think if we're about to do a long rest, Phineas will. I'm gonna use the tale that I told about the god as my tales from beyond.
Perfect.
Oh wait, that's
Very nice.
okay. So that's a D8. Don't tell me it's the same one again. Oh, it isn't. Tale of the Avenger. For one, and I can use this anytime until the next long rest. For 1 minute, any creature that hits the target with a melee attack takes force damage equal to a roll of your Bardic Inspiration die. So, I believe that since Bo was worried about not being prepared, Bo is our Avenger.
That story, too, is very fitting with an Avenger. As a certain little angry doll will likely. All right. So you all, unless there's anything else, can mark off a long rest. I see the thought. I see the temptation.
Yeah, Peppa's thinking about this hallway now in the closet. I don't think she's actually asked the cat. Well, she's kind of asked the cat, but cat didn't give a good answer.
I will
How
also
about
remind you that once per long rest, you can ask a question of the mist.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Before their long rest are they asking this question?
Yes, before the long rest, I'm asking a question. Peppa is gonna kind of sit to the side and say,
Lancelot, are you there?
Hiya. No one else
Hi.
can see, not even you, Bo.
Hello, my dearest
How
friend.
you doing? Kind of rubs your face, like puts his little fuzzy maw, and like he's like a hairless cat, so it's like that warm with that very hint of fuzzy.
I'll just like full rub face all over this cat.
You watch kind of the
Strange.
mist, like
A strange like canvas texture. Peppa's
Again,
just
the two of us, nothing.
Bo doesn't see it this time either.
Strange question.
Yes.
If one were to attempt to find a body to occupy instead of this host figure, where would one find an available one?
Well, just about I'd imagine. I'm guessing here. Also, you can ask me. You can also like I expect like poor tragic Lancelot. No one ever trusts me. I expect that. So you can I gave you the ability. You can also just reach out and just ask and you'll get a vibe. Because even if you're not like in the mist, you're in the mist too. But like that's a feeling. They're probably gonna have a harder time answering that. But
I just like talking to you. I'm more
I
of
like
a
talking to
person.
you too. I don't want you to feel like you got stiffed on the deal. That's all.
Not at all. I just need I need a different host as this one is slipping.
Well, all you gotta do is find a body that's not fully attached to the soul. I happen to know that there's a certain little girl here who's maybe not that attached. But you might wake the baby.
I don't know if I want to be I've been through the child's phase. It's a misery.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, holds up little toe beans. Not quite the same experience, but tell you what, I'll keep an eye out. And I'll let you know. But you all have gone a pretty long way. And in fact, you could, depending on how much, it kind of reaches up, because you're actually small enough where he can actually reach up and kind of bap your little forehead. I don't know how many smarts you got in there, but depending on how much work you all do, how much figuring out, how much like a troubled person you can think like, might even be able to leapfrog all the way. Just saying, you're getting close. So I don't think you need to worry too much. If I feel you slipping, I'll figure out something. I'm sure you don't want to be missed, do you?
No.
Okay. I'm not even sure that would work, but it seems like it could be fun, and I'm happy to experiment if you are.
I mean, I'm all up for experimentation, but not with my soul.
That fair. I mean, fair. Anything else I can do for you?
If I had lips, I would give you a kiss on the forehead, but I do not.
How about a scritch right here?
Okay.
Here. Okay.
and just full scratch this cat.
You watch as he does, like, puts the chin forward and the butt goes up until, like, he does the trip forward thing and he just poof away in mist rather than take the L.
I think Peppa feels a little bit more at ease at this point and will, instead of creepily staring at the party while they sleep, is going to cuddle themselves in with the party to just rest.
All right. We are nearing break, but I want to get one thing in before break, so we're going to go a little bit longer unless y'all are dying. All right. So, you all wake, The flame sword has done its work, so you all are able to pass the stability check. Not stability, I'm sorry, the stress check. So we're not even going to worry about that. I will remind you all that you wake up thirsty. And you each have a decision to make, so we'll go around. Bo, do you drink?
It was so miserable. So miserable. Bo's like, this time, I'm just going to open my mouth and just do one big swallow. It's going to be good. It's not going to be gross. It's going to be fine. It's fine. And like, I just like shotgun it. I'm just like straight back.
Roll a d20 and a d8, please.
Add or separate?
Separate.
That's a 7 and a 6.
7. You brace yourself. You throw it back. And the water is slightly thick. Not viscous, but thick, and has a taste of blood or iron to it. But your thirst is quenched, and you... Okay, that wasn't so bad.
Honestly, a little refreshing.
Peppa. Oh, you are muted. You drank the weird water, so you did.
I did indeed. Oh, sorry. That's yeah, that's a 7, and on the D4 and D8, and a 4 on the D20.
Okay. Peppa, you throw this back, and the water comes out gritty. But something happens wrong as you swallow, and it's almost like you've got sand caught in the throat that you don't have. And you take a point of stress.
They don't even have a tongue. They can't like wipe. They can't reach in. Like they can't do anything. And they're like,
I imagine you go like, and like a little cloud comes out.
And just like, yeah, just sand out of this void of a mouth, and just standing like
one sad little star that just fades away. So you're fine. Nothing has happened yet, but you do have 1 point of stress. Phineas.
So a D20 and a D8?
Please. If you choose. I will remind you, you don't have to drink. But, you know.
Okay. That is an 18 on the 20 and a 6.
Okay. You take a drink, and the water, again, it's a little bit thick and kind of metallic. There's almost a touch of blood to it. But honestly, worse and stranger things have happened to you. And
Not crawling, so yeah.
you will roll your next stress check with advantage. So you're... Okay. That's refreshing, actually. I feel better. Dylan, you're our last one.
I got a 15 and a 3.
A 15 and a 3. You take a drink, and you suddenly understand what happened to Bo last time. Because the taste of bile just overwhelms your senses. But you keep it together. It's a very Dylan thing. You're okay. And you are no longer thirsty.
There's a very loud gulp, but the face does not change at all.
All right. Anything else you all do as you step out or prepare to step out?
Oh, before we go, because I forgot it last time, in case we fall into any more closets.
We'll extend those little tiny kind of iridescent chips to everybody if they would like to take it for psychic telecommunications for 8 hours. Rolled max.
Oh, one more thing. And you see a little cat appear just before you, Peppa. No one else.
Hello.
You might, that thing that you do with your mind, but like your, yeah?
The throwing?
Yeah,
Yes.
that. But keep, if you want a new body, keep some of that in reserve. You're gonna need it.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be all of it, just, if you that's how you kick it off.
Oh, I stabbed someone.
Well, you got to use that like power. It's not just stabbing. It's
Oh, okay. I understand. Sorry, I did not choose this body. This will be the first time for me.
you look up and the cat's gone.
Oh.
And Dylan's looking at you like, what?
Sorry, the cat was here again.
Does the
Talking
cat
about
just keep
stabbing
showing
someone?
up?
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to try and find a body, and apparently I have to stab it. To possess.
Great.
Phineas is just suddenly glad that Peppa didn't know that until like after we found Dylan in the storm, not quite knowing if it was a dead body.
It could have been a 2-for-1 special.
Hey!
Roll to see who has control of the body this time.
One of us
Godplane,
is dead.
Moon Knight edition.
Amazing.
Everybody is done.
I'm the villain now.
All right. How do you leave the room? What's your plan?
I go out first because I want to make sure there's nobody in the hallway. Like I look around, trying to kind of listen, like to the walls near us to see if. Quite quick. It's here. If we can just, please, very quick. Dylan, no curiosity today. Please, just quick.
Dylan, do you
Says the
curiosity?
Says the people that ended up in a painting. I'll follow my friends, but I'll be at the back.
Do you peek back as you go?
Yeah.
Peek back long enough to do a check?
Yeah.
Give me Arcana.
Ooh.
I was like halfway up the stairs, like, no!
Yeah, you all are booking it, and you see Dylan looking back.
19 Arcana.
We are not going to end this where I thought we were, but that's fine.
Oh no.
You see. Hold on. You see this little ghostly boy standing there at the edge of the hall, and you see him step forward. And you see him reach to a little chain on his belt and rattle it. And then he looks up and he sees you seeing him. Hi.
Does he seem aggressive?
He looks like a kid who got caught with his hand in the candy jar.
I think Dylan just starts to slowly back away.
Sorry, it was fun.
Just turn and walk, suddenly not scared at all of this hallway. Probably is just walking calmly while everyone else is like, hurry, run! Just serial killer walking down the hallway.
You don't even have to walk far because there's like the door to the guest room, and then this is just right there. So it's just right around. Everyone is like hurrying up these stairs, and you're just like,
You can hear me like upstairs. Dylan, please! Please, Dylan! We can't be apart. Please run. Dylan!
Stay safe.
I don't think they're safe. I don't know where she is.
Gosh.
She's taking some time. I heard the growling.
Bo, it's even just a little bit worse because as you rush towards these stairs, the attic door swings open of its own accord.
Ah! What?
It's okay. It's okay. We'll murder her monster if we have to.
Whatever's up here, we're very tough, so you better get back in your box, whoever you are. Bo takes out her little warhammer and like tries to look as menacing as possible.
You just step up into a dark, dimly lit attic with kind of a sloped ceiling and a little window that rain is still pattering against. And there's another door on the left wall that slowly swings open, again of its own accord, revealing a wooden narrow staircase descending into an inky, unnatural darkness.
Is Dylan back?
Yeah, Dylan walks through the door and
Dylan, are you whole?
I'm fine. Yeah.
So brave.
No.
What do you mean?
It was. Look, we don't have time for this, but it was just a kid. It was a kid. Just
What?
Ghostly
What do you mean,
child?
this kid?
What's
just trying to scare us, and succeeding.
Job
A
well
kid.
done.
Look at us.
Well, they do
Does
say
everything
that
here have to
the...
play tricks?
Oh.
But
the
at least we
same
know
one
now.
that laughed at us for letting it out.
Yeah, that was the one.
Little ghostly rat bastard.
I don't know if you can call children bastards.
You can.
Oh. Once I was staying, I probably wouldn't like that.
To be fair, we have no idea who the parentage of that child is, ghostly or not, so I feel very justified in using rat bastard.
You're also
Also, this-
quite sure he's a spawn of Drixalia.
Oh.
Same thing.
Okay, valid.
His dad doesn't even have a face, according to those paintings.
At this point, Dylan's feeling like oddly not. I wouldn't say confident. Confident is not the word in this place, but it's just kind of walking around, looking at the clear direction of where we need to go, and is like, I wonder which way.
Mm-hmm.
Should we look for the library up here?
These doors have opened on their own. I have not touched them. I don't feel weird, but at the same time, they opened by themselves.
I'll be honest,
How's
we've
your-
walked into dark rooms and nothing has actually jumped out towards us. In fact, we've just been shown the way to go. It might actually be worth trusting this once.
How's your compass?
How's the compass?
It's pointing down, but the needle is a little bit thicker and stronger than it was before, as if you've somehow gotten closer to your goal.
Imagine. Well, we've come up, and now there's a way down, odd as it may seem. So, we should give it a shot.
Yeah, I say we go.
What is your marching order?
I'll go first.
I'll go second.
Bo bringing
Go
up the
third.
rear as usual?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, if only so I can see this shitty kid and give him a stern talking to.
Fucking kid.
You start down the stairs, and as you descend into the pitched murk, the timbre of your boots and hooves upon the stairs changes until you find a wall that blocks your path in the darkness. You are just about to try and examine it and figure out what is going on. Then it seems to move of its own accord and slide out of the way and settle. And before you opens a staircase, widened and curved, that goes down and down and down the spiral staircase. What seems like multiple stories in darkness. Before at last a faint yellowish light meets you, increasing in radiance as you descend further. Eventually, the light brightens enough to reveal an expansive library. The stacks are at least 2 stories high, with wheeled ladders scattered throughout the shelves. It has an almost church-like quality to it, with a vaulted ceiling and stained glass windows. The light that shines in from outside the windows is almost the color of the sun, but the stained glass windows do not break or change its hue at all. And it seems to come from every direction of the library all at once. At the base of the staircase, a shelf of books bars your way. But after a moment, the book stack slides away with a notable thunk. And before you is a space, roughly 40 feet by 40 feet, cordoned off by bookshelves. At the head of the room, as much as this area can be called a room, is an archway constructed of twisted wrought iron. There are other bits of iron crudely hammered and welded on, shaped like alchemical symbols. Before the archway, completing a bent circle on the floor, is what appears to be red paint covered in salt. A polyhedric symbol dominates the circle, drawn with the same paint but without the salt. Blank spaces between are filled with alchemical symbols similar to those wrought iron fixtures above. An unlit brazier punctuates the center of the floor design. Around the remainder of the room, you see a few large tables. Most notably, in the far corner, you see 4 bodies laying near the circle. At first, they appear to be asleep. But after freezing for just a moment, you realize you do not see their chests rise or fall with breath. Their skin is gaunt and pale, and a thin layer of dust covers them. Each lies face up with their arms crossed on their chests. One is what appears to be a human man, though small cat ears peek from a mop of black hair, and he has a long sword. He has an ornate rapier clasp in his grip. Phineas, you recognize this from the portrait. It was a rogue who hung in that hallway. Another is a dwarven man, draped in moth-eaten red silks, with 2 polished sabers in his fist, and bracers with blood-stained chains coiled around his forearms. The third, an elven woman, wears a long emerald dress which clings to her lithe form, her head adorned with a crown of branches woven with dull stones. And finally, an orcish, but not fully orcish woman, large and grizzled, with what appears to be a colander on her head, lays with a cracked and blood-stained mace in her grip. No sooner do you start to take all of this in than you hear the unmistakable sound of a mist portal opening and closing from somewhere beyond the shelves, followed by a fury of library stacks sliding into new positions. Finally, the bookshelf directly in front of you slides out of the way, revealing a woman scribbling frantically in a journal with a fountain pen. You have a moment to regard her as she's absorbed in chronicling her current entry. She's short with shaggy brown hair, wrapped in an ill-fitting violet wizard's robe. Long ago, this must have represented a tailor's finest work, but time and indifference have worked in tandem to deprive it of its opulence. The once thick, luxurious robe is now pressed flat and stained in places. The skin on the woman's face is pulled taut, paper thin, stretched over sharp cheekbones, one step from the lich. Satisfied with her entry, she looks up from her journal with huge, hungry eyes, even as her brow furrows in annoyance. What are you doing here? More of Visal's riprap? I've told her countless times the issue with the nightmare is all but resolved. I merely need to change the one aspect of the binding spell and release the seal on the portal and the nightmare's plane, and my victory shall be well in hand. And you stand in the presence of Her Eminence, Rector Tazik of Tanzania. And that's where we're going to go to break. Thank you all for joining us. We will be back in 10 minutes. If these people don't reach through the screen and do something mean to me. And we'll see you very soon. Don't go nowhere. Thank you for hanging out. And we are back. You all stand in this library, shelves thrown aside, as a woman, ancient and weathered, but determined, with two intelligent, two determined eyes, looks at you all over the top of a book. She reaches into her robe and produces a small crystal orb. She holds it up, journal still open in her other hand, and looks upon it with greedy arrogance. The days of inscribing spells into scrolls or meticulously crafting cumbersome items that disintegrate when you use are over. I present to you an aspect, an original invention of mine. Quite brilliant, actually. You cast your spell into the transfer apparatus, then plug in your aspect. She waves a hand, and the shelves part, opening wide. She approaches the brazier in the center of the polyhedral pattern on the floor and gently, reverently places it inside. With a snap of her fingers, a gout of pink flame erupts from the orb, dissipating quickly. It leaves behind the orb, which is now glowing pink. She lifts the orb and haphazardly stuffs it back into her robe, almost trying to hide it from you poorly. Now all you have to do is say cast, and follow, but with the name of the spell. Quite genius. But what can you expect from a natural prodigy such as myself? But her tone turns hawkish and grim. It is not for you, not for Vasal's dregs. The victory over the nightmare is mine, and mine alone to claim. Be gone. Wasting everyone's time.
I know we most likely know who this is, but Peppa didn't see her face in the flashbacks. Does she know, or still has no idea who this person is?
We did all read the books.
We did read the books, but Peppa.
You can easily see this book she's holding. You can see this scrawling handwriting that matches, but you don't even need to see that, Peppa. In that way that you know things in this space, in that way that you know things in a dream. You know.
Peppa takes a step forward and says,
Tazik, you probably don't remember me. I was much different the last time.
Her Eminence Rector Tazik, please.
I will not
Titles are
grace you
important.
with such a name. How's Layla?
Who?
Who? You do
I
not
cannot
remember
be
them.
expected to remember the footnote of every side
Footnote.
character in my story.
Footnote.
And Peppa immediately brandishes 2 of these blades and says,
I am going to enjoy ripping you limb from limb.
I should rather like to watch you try. Tessic raises both hands. All of the shelves start sliding closed until you're in an enclosed area. Pink wisps rise from their fingers, and you watch those 4 shapes behind you sit slowly up and then start to stand. I need all of you to roll initiative, please.
Oh no.
I'm gonna work
It's
on
time for
Peppa's
me.
like people skills. Okay, it's just
I'm good with children.
For reasons that involve my sanity, I'm going to ask Bo first.
21.
Ooh. Dylan.
Natural 20 for a 21.
Ooh. So I'm actually going to put that as a 22 just to make this happy. Peppa.
17.
17. And Phineas.
it's a natural 20 for a 22.
So we're going to put that as a 23.
Boom!
Part of me wants
Oh,
to spend some of my
are
+1s just to get to
Here
a
for
20.
this fight.
I'm not going to.
Okay,
Everyone just moves out of the way from Peppa.
right?
Right, our action is just like
All right. So, you all prepare. Is there anything you do or say as these figures climb to their feet? You see dust falling off of them. Their eyes are hollow and distant, and gaze unfocused as they reach for weapons or take poses, moving behind Tazik in a protective manner.
Go for her. No point with the other ones.
All right. The half-orc woman moves first. She rushes towards Bo. She swings this mace at you with such force, but I assume she does not hit you with an 11. She swings too far and too hard, and her mace hits a shelf and shatters. And you see her even in this strange... She blinks, the colander kind of shaking on her head. And frowns in confusion, throws it to the ground, and looks almost like she's blaming you for this. And in that moment, Tazik uses a legendary action. As books from across these shelves start flying towards all of you from all directions. This has been her home for so long that she has great control over them. I need all of you to make a dexterity saving throw. Oh,
19.
I rolled a 14, but I'm going to use 3 of my +1s to make it a 7.
I will tell you, you
Unless-
don't need to use all of those. I'm being a very nice GM right now.
Coming.
Technically, you don't have to use any.
Hey, okay, perfect. 14.
18 for me.
18? Phineas?
18 for Phineas.
So you all take 2 points of bludgeoning damage as you protect yourself against the worst of these, but you are aware that there are just so many books. There is no way. This library is stocked and filled. There's no way to avoid them all. Phineas, you are up next as Tazik is shouting, Get them! Stop them! They're trying to take my victory!
Theus just looks at this, this withering, frailing form of Tezek and focuses their magic and casts Dissonant Whispers. And the energy that you usually see coming from Phineas when things like this happen actually rise from the mouths, like from around the heads and mouths of those dead bodies that Tezek is controlling. And what happens is the air just fills and this energy flows towards her, and voices surround her going, "Failure, you are a failure, you are a failure, you are a failure." That is a wisdom save, DC 14.
Tezek only rolled a 12. So they will take full damage.
Tezek's not gonna like this. All right, this is not great. That is going to be 13 points of what is that? Psychic damage.
8. Lies! Lies! You will not lie to me! And they spin on these other creatures, on these other dreamers, before they turn their attention back to you all. Dylan.
Dylan is taking a couple steps back, just knowing where they stand in this group. Takes a couple steps back, and you see these balls of like pinkish black light forming in their palms. 3. They float up, and she just kind of like twirls her finger to get them all to join in together, and then slings them, all 3 of them, at Tezek. This is Magic Missile, and it automatically hits.
Yeah, I don't get to do anything about that.
So that is 10 points of force damage.
10 points. Cute. Let me show you how magic is done. Anything else?
That is my turn.
Bo.
Unmute. I would like to can I try to restrain the elven woman?
Yeah. Make
I
a...
have some rope, so.
Yeah, so it's going to be a grapple check.
Okay.
So you can roll strength. It's getting hot in here.
Dirty 20.
Let's see if I get a nat 20. She's... Ooh, that 4 is not going to do it. No, okay, so you grab hold of her. And she is much smaller than you. And so it's not that difficult. And you can feel her, these lean but solid muscles fighting against you. And I think you have 2 attacks, but you have to use an attack to get the second attack. So I think next turn you're going to have to use the rope.
Okay.
And then you watch as this dwarf kind of rolls one shoulder, sees you grabbing his compatriot, says, "Ha! No!" and is going to half spin and charge at you and try to break this grapple. So you're going to have to give me an opposed strength check. And Kato, if you would like to dictate what Vita would say, please throw it in chat. That is going to be a dirty 20.
I got a 12.
Got a 12. So this dwarf, who barely comes up to your thigh, just like spins at you, grabs your arm, and half twists you away. You don't take any damage, but you are now like staring down at this dwarf. Red beard. Hi.
Rude.
Peppa.
Peppa does not go straight for Kazakh. You see that Peppa kind of begins to move with these bookshelves as they go and starts to try and blend in with these shelves. I'm going to try and use one of my actions to stealth.
You get to do as a bonus action, correct? Because
Maybe?
that's what you're a rogue. Rogues get to bonus action.
Oh, cool.
Hide.
Cool. Yes, I will do this.
There's plenty of tables and stacks of books, and you're a small little doll. You can do it. It's not a problem.
We'll see. We'll see if I can do it. Didn't roll super great. Stealth. That's still 15.
Okay. Yeah, you hide. You don't know how effective it is, but you've hidden.
Hiding behind one of the bookshelves, Peppa is going to throw one of these psionic daggers towards them. Towards Kazakh.
Okay.
And that's a natural 20.
Oh. And you do get sneak attack.
Yes. Oh my god. That's
you
a lot
beat
of
their passive perception.
Okay, well that's gonna be 2d6.
Don't mess with a rogue with a grudge. Ooh.
I'm regretting this.
I even rolled a critical in roll 20 when I was rolling damage. So that's 8 just for the blade itself, and then for sneak attack altogether. Okay, so 8 psionic damage from the dagger, and then that's going to be.
I don't like this.
Another 27 damage from sneak attack.
The math gif right now, like.
Yeah, just do. As you see the strike into her, you hear Peppa say,
For the Weaver, for Lila, and for every single one of our friends and family that you brought back to fight against us.
You watch as Kazakh is just looking frantically around this battlefield, just trying to take in everything. And you... Ah! She screams, and she hears your whisper in this creepy voice from just above the ground. She looks down at you. Oh. You.
Me. I cannot wait to watch you bleed.
The Weaver is a lie. They're all lies.
I don't believe anything you're saying. I don't take any of this to account.
Do you do anything else?
Use my bonus action, use my attack action. I cannot do anything else, so I'm good.
All right. Then it is Rector Tazakh's turn. You have stayed right at her side. She reaches down and touches your little doll head, and I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, I will also let you know, just all of my weapons are thrown, but she can still come up and.
Oh
my god, are you serious?
Wait. Were you up against her, or no?
I will
I
say in
thought
this
you were-
case, for dramatic effect, I threw it and then ran up to her. For dramatic effect, that's another natural 20. So Peppa's not fucking around.
I don't think I get anything if you pass.
That's right. That's right.
Hey.
Were you attempting something? All I see is this sad, withered husk.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you say you were going to show me something about magic?
What do you want to show me? A children's show?
I'm honestly not impressed.
You watch
Really?
this pink light flicker in her eyes. She doesn't say anything more. Then right next to you, Bo, you watch this elf whom you had grabbed just release. She takes a step back and comes up onto her toes, almost floating. It's so graceful. And you watch as the dull stones in her crown start to vibrate with magic, and they rise just slightly in the air, and then crack, one after the other, falling to dust before her. She looks down in confusion and looks at all of you, and then looks to Tazik. And she doesn't say anything. But you're watching wheels turn in her mind. Just behind Tazik, you watch this human step to the side into a shadow and is gone. With that, we see this huge half-orc turns to you, Bo. She is 6'6". She is a huge individual in half-plate armor. Her tusks are large, especially for a half-orc. And she turns and throws herself at you to try to grapple you. Give me an opposed strength check, and I like this dice. It's rolling decently.
Do I have to tell you?
Well, I will say, she didn't roll great either.
11.
13. So you just are grabbed from behind by this half-orc.
We have bonuses from Sauce, from the people.
Do I have? I don't want to blow through
from the
3
people.
of them.
Do it.
We have a pot of.
All right, fine. Fine, I'm doing it. Even though she sounds sick.
So she reaches and grabs you from behind, and you can feel it grab. And Tazik burns through a dream shard, and she beats that as she holds you because Full Rubber Ducky just donated.
Damn it!
So you feel her grip start to break, and she holds just ever so tightly. Thank you for the cheer, Rex.
I've been squeezed like this before. I warn you, I'll be quite cross when I get out of it.
Anyone else who's looking, you can't see it because she's got you from behind. Anyone else who's looking sees a little bit of blush, a little bit of color come to her cheeks. Phineas.
Let's see here. So Bo's just been grappled. That wasn't like an attack. It's just been
It's just a grapple.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot. She shouts out marinara. Now it's your turn, Phineas.
How a word I don't think I've ever heard before. Back to, let's see here. So, Orc is grappling Bo. Elven tried a thing and is looking disappointed. Human vanished into the shadows. Dwarf is probably also next to Bo after
Dwarf
the.
is right
what's
next
up?
to Bo, has 2 swords in hand.
Oh, don't like that. And in this moment, like, how good do those swords look? Are they looking roughly the same quality as the things that have broken?
You know, these don't. These look actually just a little bit better.
That's not great. Okay. Let's see. You know, I think we will. Oof. Oof. Oh. Yeah, I think this okay, yeah, it's gonna be a lot of trust after this one. To kind of basically rattle the two sort of flanking bow, Phineas is going to cast Thunder Wave in their direction. Although it is it's like a 15-foot cube originating from me. So I'm hoping that I don't know, basically from our position, how many people that might.
This entire space is about 40 feet.
Okay.
There's a lot of players, but there's enough room that you can.
Got it.
We're at
Okay.
Theater of the Mind, so I'm not playing super.
Then yeah. Let's see here. It will be everybody. So essentially, I'm casting it at the dwarven and orc, and unfortunately Bo, who again I really hope will forgive me after this. And it is a con save DC 14.
So the orc gets 16 on the dice plus. She got. The dwarf got a 9 on the dice, but. So that's a 15.
I got a 16. Was I supposed to roll?
Yes. Okay, so they all saved.
What was it? I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, it's a DC 14.
Yeah, they all saved. I'm sorry.
That's just rude.
You're not sorry.
You know, I took rogue crit sneak attack damage, so don't yell at me, okay?
Fine. Okay, in that case, it's fine. Phineas still does this, and you kind of see them, their hands swirl for a moment, and this, like, from nowhere, ghostly giant's foot hits the ground, like ethereal, right in front of them, and this wave of force goes towards it. And, you know, since there was a save, they're all gonna take, can I do math in half? 6 points of damage.
Okay.
No one gets pushed away because they all saved, but anything else that's around them that's unsecured is basically like.
Yeah, you see like a table and stacks of books just go. And we can officially say that Phineas is electrifying. I'll be here all week, y'all. All right. Anything else for Phineas?
Here. Yes. Simply to Phineas gives a bardic inspiration to Bo, since they haven't yet been actually attacked, so the can't activate the Avenger yet, but they may need a D8.
Is there
So,
anything that
you got one?
Phineas says or does to inspire Bo?
Um,
Who's been grappled by a huge half orc?
I'm sorry, wait. Oh god, I actually did have something for this, and oh wait. Yes, Phineas shouts back, Bolognese!
You hear
See? We're all just screaming sauces now.
Bo in your ear, you just hear. All right. That's it then, Dylan.
Oh boy. Okay. Dylan is still just staring Tazik in the face, like whether Tazik's looking or not. And Dylan will say, you know, they're even scarier when you can't see her. And I'm gonna cast Blind on Tazik. That is a Constitution saving throw.
That is a natural 19
Ooh, yeah.
on the dice.
Yeah.
Like this dice
yeah.
tonight.
Save was 13, so tries to cast this, and I think it just falls a little short, and there's a moment where Dylan feels... Kerri would use the word vulnerable, but I don't think Dylan would use the word vulnerable. And there's this moment of, like, this pull in their chest where they're feeling like they could call on something for help. But I think they're gonna sit and focus on that for a moment. So that is Dylan's...
Feeling the spell come at you and not quite take root. Kazakh looks at you and cackles. Think how useless you'll be against your mother. Bo.
I don't like how these people are talking to my friends. Do I have to like try to break this grip, or can I move within it?
So you can do an opposed strength check to break it. I believe your speed is reduced to 0, but we're in a dream world, and I think if you're just trying to move, I will let you move at half speed, dragging this half-orc with you, because I think that's very fun if that's what you want to do.
So I don't even want to move. I want to know if I can like try to hurt them while they're holding me.
Okay, I'm gonna check in with David, rules lawyer. I believe the way this works is you can attack, but it's at disadvantage.
Okay.
That is what my D&D brain is telling me. You can still attack while restrained. Both you and the grappled creature are restrained, but you don't... Oh, but Roxy has the grappler feat. I know how to play my own character, y'all. Yeah, I think you can attack, but it is at disadvantage.
Okay. So
And
Bo is
extra
being...
because you're kind of like having to like...
So Bo is being held fast. This creature is 5 inches taller than she is.
She a big goyle.
Yeah, my horns are about that much distance. So Bo just shrinks down a little bit and then throws her head back to try and get her in the face.
Yes!
Ah!
That dice didn't want to be rolled. 18 will hit.
And that's a 16. I didn't add anything. Hold on. I've got things to add. Because you said I was a disadvantage. That's a 21 for my poorest roll.
That hits.
Okay. And then so after that, like what's the rule after that? Do I I know I roll damage.
Roll damage.
But, like, I get a second attack. Can I get her a second time in the face?
Do it again. Yeah.
All right, I'm doing it. I don't know about this one. I don't know if that one's gonna hit. That one is 11.
You go back and the back of your head catches the handle of the colander. It just pings off.
Wait, I have a superiority die. What am I doing? Can I add that? $16.
Still does not hit.
Okay. Well, I tried.
Beefy goyle, but you got to give me your damage from that first one.
Okay. It's gonna be a 9 damage.
9 damage. She takes it, and you hear the crunch of her nose breaking, but she doesn't bleed.
You should let me go.
Anything else from Bo?
I think that's it for now. I have reactions though, so. Is getting out of this grapple a regular action or a bonus action?
It's an action.
Regular.
It's an
right?
opposed strength.
Okay.
Strength. I can
Then I'll
burn.
wait.
Strength check.
Okay.
All right. So, at this point, you see this little dwarf shout, "Meatball!" and starts spinning. And one sword comes at you. That's only a... What is your two hit? It's only a 10.
No.
Then he keeps spinning and comes at you again for... That's an 18 plus 5.
Yes.
23. So... I have too many dice. And this is a little pressure. 10 points. Oh! He gets advantage because you're grappled. So that other one is a 14 plus 5, 19.
Rude.
19 does not hit?
It does hit.
Oh, it does hit. Okay. So, I'll be nice and I won't crit fish. 9, 15 points of slashing damage as this dwarf starts to spin and just keeps hopping from foot to foot, spinning with this weird clank because he's in full plate armor and going in a circle after shouting meatball.
Don't like it.
Peppa.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Bo took damage.
Ooh!
Something connected. Then yes, at like almost feeling this, Phineas shouts, "The Avenger!" towards. It sounds like a bad movie serial from the 50s, but yeah, "The Avenger!" towards Bo. So that's a D8 force damage back.
I kick out and deal 5 damage with my hoof into the face of this dwarf.
All right. He's spinning and you... That wasn't very nice! And he just keeps going as he takes 5 points of
I hate
damage.
him.
And Peppa?
Peppa.
All right. Peppa looks around and says,
You've made it a bit of a nightmare for me and my journey, but I'll make sure your last moments are a nightmare themselves.
and Peppa throws their little kind of pull string backwards, hooking onto something. And as it's like they skitter back on all fours into the darkness, you just hear, "Don't leave me behind," as it's pulled back. And again, another bonus action for hide. Oh no! That is a 1, but technically ones aren't a crit fail on skill checks. So I'm going to use a psionic dice to try and add things to that, because that would be technically a 10 still. With the psionic dice, it's only a 12. Peppa doesn't know if that makes it or not, but Peppa will attempt to attack from the darkness, or between these like moving bookshelves. Oh my god. Okay, so I rolled another 1, but as you see another blade fly out from the dark, Peppa reaches onto their chest, kind of taking out from their striped shirt. You see this almost kind of, let me just double check what it is. You see this like clock they kind of pull out that has this like ticking noise, and as they smash it with their hands, you see almost time reverse, as I'm going to use the clockwork amulet to roll a 10 instead. So that's going to be an 18 to hit.
18 hits. And you do get the gosh darn sneak attack.
Yes! So that is... So that's 9 for the blade. Oh wow, I rolled like minimum. So it's 18 points of damage altogether.
Okay. 9 again. You throw in and stab. Watch this blade sink into her. She's You should listen to the histories. She's going to use a legendary action. I need all of you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Now.
Is this a spell?
It is a legendary action.
Okay.
Ooh.
It's
21.
a dirty 20 for me.
Dirty 20. What did Phineas get?
10.
10.
Okay.
A 9 for Peppa.
Peppa and Phineas, you take 11 points of bludgeoning damage as these books slam into you. The rest of you take 5.
I'm gonna use Uncanny Dodge in
As
the
you
darkness
should.
just to avoid most of this damage. It's like,
Can I take a little less because? Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm so sorry.
Peppa says, kind of from between these bookshelves moving, and says,
No matter how much literature you try to throw at us, Tazik, we will make sure to cut out your spine.
Bo is terrified of Pepper right now.
Dylan is very happy with Peppa right now.
Let's go.
This is a very different set of Peppa.
Can I argue that I take less than 5 damage because I'm being grappled by someone else who can have that with me?
For the fun of it, only because I know what's about to happen.
What?
I don't like that.
Oh, I don't like that.
So, Tazik is going to, enraged, hurt. You're starting to see blood stain this purple robe. They look at you and point. And this black beam of energy shoots from their finger, Peppa. And I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
I counterspell it.
And it does not work. Just. You are all wasting so much time.
Maybe you should just get better.
Peppa did not just say get good to the baddie. Oh!
I see. So, the elf is watching all of this, and you see. Just thought you see her. And she goes, no, all stop, don't. Roxy, look, reach out to him, reach out to your gut. Don't you feel, don't any of you understand? And with a natural 20, you see the half-orc frown and think for a moment. You don't know what's going to happen, but you felt something about this battle change. However, right then, the human steps from a shadow. They were not hidden, they were not there, and then they step out of a shadow with a rapier in hand. And they're stabbing for the restrained bow. I assume a 24 is going to hit.
Yes.
I'm sorry. They as Phineas sees or doesn't see or whatever just took place. There is shock, but then you actually kind of see these silvery needles fly towards this whatever this being, this shadow. All they know is someone was about to hurt their friend, and that is using silvery barbs as a reaction. So they must re-roll.
Mm-hmm.
They must re-roll that attack roll and use the lower one.
So that is still a 16 plus 5 for a 21.
Well,
But you do get to
Okay,
give advantage to
that's-
someone.
You know, that's yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and say
Phineas is trying
it
his
kind
best,
of goes.
their best today.
It really just goes right back to Bo and just kind of like cascades and their horns glow silver for a moment and. Jeez, you're rolling too well today. Not fair.
And stepping from the shadow with sneak attack, this human impales you with this silver fancy rapier for 13 points of piercing damage. And Peppa, you suddenly have the memory of someone else who said they didn't like Tazik. Do you reach out?
Of course.
Do you say anything? How do you reach out?
Who else has this shared hatred for Tazik? Name yourself.
And a little puff of purple appears. Not in front of you, but up on Bo's shoulder, kind of looking at the half-orc. Bo, you see him too. And actually, for the first time, Phineas and Dylan, you see a little purple cat made of shifting mist. And he looks back. Oh, it's this time. Would you all like a hand?
Yes, please.
And Bo, on your shoulders, you kind of feel him like making kind of kitty biscuits, and he gets all excited before you hear no, no, no. And just as he vanishes again, you see 3 creatures suddenly scuttle from the stacks. They are hideous monstrosities. They look like mutant hairless cats that were bred with rats. Like they're these terrifying, hideous creatures that scuttle towards Tazik. And then, oh yeah, maybe don't use magic for a minute. And then he's gone.
What?
You see Tazik, no, no, no! I got rid of all of you! Why are you still here? Vermin.
Looks like you're still not as good as you thought.
We return to the top of the round, where the half-orc suddenly releases you, Bo. She looks up and reaches towards this symbol at her chest. And anyone who has religious training would recognize this spell as Channel Divinity. You watch her reach out and pull, and nothing happens. And you watch terror and hurt flash across her face. She looks devastated. And then she turns to look at Tazik. And her eyes are dark and hateful. Tazik, seeing this, no, 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 you are mine to command. You are the lesser heroes who fell. You will not! And Tazik uses a legendary action to bend the knee. Points to the elf. You will stop and you will take care of this. Phineas, it's your turn.
Whoa. Actually, Phineas will. I assume that we also heard what Lancelot said before pooping out. Since this is the first time that they've actually seen the cat that everyone says existed, and now it actually does exist, not going to ignore the advice. And while it's not the best thing that they've got going on, will actually pull out their little hand crossbow and try a ranged attack at Tezek, who has a whole lot going on today. I'm trying to think. I have nothing that can actually help this, so we'll just I don't know.
You got dream shards and you got disrupt K shards.
They're not the same thing. That's a 14.
14 is gonna hit.
Oh yay. All right. It's
Wizard.
Yeah, that's true. Fair enough. It's really just the 3 points with the piercing damage from the hand crossbow, and staying where they are. They were never close, so they were never close. But staying where they are and saying, "Yeah, take that," knowing it's not like a super, yeah.
Dylan's gonna do something really stupid.
Oh boy.
And listening to the don't do magic, Dylan doesn't know how to not do magic, but Dylan does have a dagger. So they're gonna pull that out and they are going to sprint towards Tadzik and attempt to just drive into the gut. That is a 20, dirty 20.
What does it look like as you charge forward and stab into this wizard, not using your magic for...
There's this very obvious, it's not a move that is practiced. It's probably, a little more forceful than necessary, just because she doesn't know really.
Like
she doesn't stab people. Yeah. And as they just slam into each other, that is 5 points of piercing damage. And I just hold it there, and that is my turn.
Do you really think you can hold your will against a god who runs through your veins? Bo.
Am I still grappled?
You've been released.
Okay.
There is a half-orc directly behind you. There is a still spinning dwarf right by you. And in front of you is this human with a sword and cat ears.
How close together are the human with the sword and the dwarf? Are they right next to each other?
I mean, they're if you're here, one's here, the dwarf is here, the thing is right behind you. So they've kind of triangled up around you.
Okay. I have a sweep attack. So I'm going to roll my Warhammer roll against those two and try to bang them up a little bit.
Alrighty.
Okay, that first one is a 17.
Hold on, I gotta check too. That hits the human.
Okay.
But the dwarf just annoyingly steps right over it as they spin.
All right. So I reach out and I
short.
try to I want to do that, and then as he kind of dashes out of the way, the dwarf, is he leaving my area of attack?
No, he is spinning like a top right next to you. He started spinning in place and has not stopped.
Okay, so I'm gonna use my hammering horns to try and push him away from me.
Okay.
Let's see. It must succeed on a strength saving throw, DC 14.
Okay. Oh, how much damage did you do to the human before I...
That is a good question. That is 6.
Six.
Wait,
okay.
I'm so sorry. No, I have both hands on my warhammer. I'm so sorry. I'm terrible.
No worries. Six.
Oh.
Sorry, you.
That's an 8.
It's an 8. Okay.
So, not any better.
So take
Oh, an
that
8.
and then what is your strength, sir? 16 strength save?
For me? No.
Yes. Does not. Okay. So does he take damage and get pushed or just get pushed?
He just gets pushed.
Just gets pushed.
10
All right.
feet.
So this hammer comes off and you hear, ha ha, oh no, a clean sweep. And then just slides away.
Wait, so the horns slide the dwarf? The human just takes regular damage. He doesn't get pushed.
Yes.
Yeah. Good. Bo like cracks her neck and like turns around and looks at the orc, like ready to like chew her out. I imagine when she looks at her that there's like nothing there. She's just miserable, right?
She is eyes locked on Tazik. And there is rage in those eyes.
Bo moves out the way. Steps aside. And that's the end of my turn.
All right. So next up is going to be that little spinning dwarf. Who I'm trying to he's just gonna so he was the one that was pushed away, correct?
The dwarf, yes.
So the dwarf is going to be like, don't want to get close. And he's going to grip his saber as still spinning in his left hand and just pops his left arm off at the shoulder. It hits the floor with a thud, and then he grabs the chain up and starts swinging it as he's spinning, the other sword clattering to the ground. I'm gonna give it that. It's another 21.
Do not like. Where's the elf? Isn't she talking to her homie?
Dwarf is real happy to be fighting. That's gonna be 8 points of slashing damage as he just keeps spinning with. He's holding his arm in one arm. There's a chain hanging from this arm with a saber at the end, so he's now spinning with a 10-foot reach.
Yeah, you guys look over at Bo, and she's looking worse for wear. Let me tell you, it's not good.
It's really impressive to watch, though, I gotta say.
If you have a shard of health, anything, I'm feeling a little tired. You see her like stagger a little bit, like she's drunk.
Peppa, you're up.
Oh. Seeing that Bo is hurt, Peppa's kind of rage diverts from Tazik. Head spinning, cocking towards Bo, kind of skittering out of the darkness. Goes between, and I know that somewhere, most likely, Bo has one of the shards, or one of us is carrying a shard. I'm going to use my action to basically move action to run over to Bo, skittering up, taking out that shard to smash on her in order to heal her.
And I don't know if are you doing, there's a, I think a regular that's 1d4 or a greater that's 1d8.
I want to do 1d8.
And then
Healing.
David, correct me, it's +4. I've got this here, I think. I have this here.
So you take 5.
I'm sorry.
Mhm.
You have a regular one, which is 2d4 +2, or you have a greater one, which is 4d4 +4.
I'll do the 44 + 4, so...
As you're doing that, Bo is like, Peppa, this is more of your power. You need it.
I know, but you need this more.
and you get 13 points of health back.
This
as they break this
bottle
on you.
smashes on you, and mist, white and blue, rises up, and you feel this cool, soothing touch on your face. You breathe in, and you're healed.
Thank you. I cannot repay.
Don't even worry about it. Friends help friends. Anyway,
Use my bonus action. I'm going to take one of those daggers and I'm going to chuck it at Tazik. It's still going to do sneak attack damage because Jillian is right there.
That is exactly why I did this.
Good!
thank you.
I feel like I might still hit her. I don't know. Ooh, I might not. That's a 12?
Meets it, beats it.
Yes! Huzzah! That's all the D4.
Cinematically, can Dylan have, like, just moved?
Absolutely. She's like ranting and raving this whole time. None of you understand the power that I'm. Ugh!
It's like right near the Achilles tendon that this just slides. And as it slides into there, Peppa just kind of shouts over, "Kneel yourself, bitch."
What's the damage?
Oh, it is going to be...
I mean, I won't take it if you don't make me, but
14 psionic.
Jesus. Okay. With that, Tazik's eyes just lock on you again, and they glare at you, Dylan. And they start to reach out, and then they stop, and they just shout, look down at the cats. Curses! Curse you, Howard Phillips! Curse you! And you all hear a little snicker. And they're gonna do a book barrage, so you all need to do a dexterity saving throw. Please.
I guess.
I got a 16.
Guys, fucking me right now.
I got a natural 1.
Oh, 14.
19.
Natural 1.
Please don't tell me I get murdered with books in this game. Candace will be so upset.
You take 9 points of damage. The rest of you take 4.
R.I.P. that
And
healing.
you have an uncanny dodge, because of
Will
course
that-
you do.
Will that be halved or would that be 0? I never know. I think it's halved,
I
right?
think uncanny dodge it just goes away, because
Yeah.
that's what rogues do.
Yeah, just like a book flies for Peppa's head and just Peppa just like gently ducks. Just if you're okay with it, Bo, Peppa's like kind of standing like on your shoulder.
And with that, it comes back around to the elf. And you watch her, hand shaking, reaches down as a cat climbs a thing behind her and fights every inch of it before she grabs a dagger and pulls it out and looks at you, Peppa, and takes a swing. She is not good. It's an 18.
18 hits. Hatchy. I don't have much.
I
4
can't
points of
counterspell a
piercing
dagger, I'm
damage.
so sorry.
4?
4.
Okay, good.
You watch her, and she, and then she immediately drops the dagger and doesn't even seem to have time for you. It spins again on Tazik. You watch her. No. And as a bonus action, she reaches out and seems to grab some part of Tazik's magic and pulls it before throwing it back at him. At her. It does no damage to Tazik, but it causes Gurminchkas at her feet to all just start howling as their magic allergy. You watch magic prickle across their furless bodies. and they explode. Hold on a sec.
Does this affect me being right by Tazik, or is this just a magic target thing? Just trying to be
A
fair
lot of
here.
dice. That's a lot of rolling.
I'm scared. For Dylan.
I'm gonna say that the way this is set up, you are right next to her, and there's one cat on either side, but one on the other side of her. So you're only going to be caught in 2.
Okay. No, yeah.
You take 16 points of slashing and force damage. And you watch as Tazik drops. She cries out in pain, collapsing in a heap. She slumps to the floor and tink, 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 tink. That small orb falls from her robe and starts to roll away. With these swarms of tiny, rat-like cats crawling all over her, she reaches a bloody hand out, and with a dry whisper and a gesture casts Mage Hand. The hand grasps the orb and starts dragging it back towards her, but even the actions of the hand seem weak. You cannot have it. But her words are drowned out by the cacophony of howling cat sounds that fill the room as swarms of Greminchkas descend upon her, ripping and tearing at her corpse or soon-to-be corpse. Peppa, is there anything you wish to do?
I think watching this happen, Peppa just like jumps off Bo and walks up with a bit of a strong kick. We'll kind of try and like push Tazik over, so she's looking up at Peppa. Just Peppa kind of like leaning down over and say,
"So nice to finally actually see your face after not remembering for so many years. I'm gonna enjoy watching you suffer. Gives me great delight."
And she can't even reply as she is simply ripped to ribbons and then almost absorbed by these magical creatures born of poor magic, born of magic gone wrong, created to be abominations, twisted and terrible. And the mage hand fades away as the orb again, tink, 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 falls to the floor. Around you, Bo, the bodies of the warriors drop to the ground with a heavy thud. They lay motionless for just a moment before they dissolve into ash. And you all have but a moment to take this in before the ground beneath your feet shudders, and Bo, an all too familiar cracking sound, climbs up the walls as the waves of protective magic around these stacks crack, leaving a mental image of shattered glass in your mind. The library is collapsing. Stack after stack, shelves start falling as books and dust and Greminchkas and rodents flee and swarm and look for escape. And we're going to pick up there next week. Thank you all for watching, and thank you to my amazing players who got quite a few things thrown at them this go round. Don't forget that we have a tip link if you would like to make things just a little bit easier for these incredible folks, because those magic things could definitely come in handy for what's coming. Let's do a quick round of outros. Tell us who you are and where we can find you, and we're going to start opposite order as usual with Dylan.
Hello. I am shocked right now. Hold on. I need a second. I am Kerri Smith. You can find me at Kerri Smith 2012 on Twitter and YouTube. You can find me tomorrow as a player on my own channel for a Halloween special of It Once Souls that was so much fun and so fun to film. Yep. Brain is fog.
And Phineas, who are you in the real world?
Hi, I am Brian. I have been your changeling bard with very sharp tongue and not very effective much else tonight. You can find me on the internet as Urban Bohemian pretty much everywhere. I stream on Twitch on my own channel a few days a week. On Sundays, you can find me on Rivals of Waterdeep. On Mondays, you can find me on Idle Champions Presents Hunger of the Far Realm. On Thursdays, you can find me here, and also you can hear me on Cyberpunk Independence, a Cyberpunk Red actual play podcast that drops wherever podcasts are cast. And if you are an Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms player, keep an eye out soon.
Peppa.
Hi everyone, I'm Matihi, or Piper. You can find me at Twitter at Maddie Matihi. You can find me on Twitch at Matihi. I'm in a few places. Of course, I'm over on Emma Panada's channel every single Tuesday, running Curse of Lady Strahd, a queer venture into Barovia. And I'm also going to be on Going Crit RPG's channel this Saturday, playing All the Witches, a game written by one of my partners, with Emma. And it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be the first time that we're playing it live. It's going to be released next year, but it's going to be a ton of fun. There's an amazing cast, and I'm really looking forward to it. Also, keep eyes out for my channel. Coming in November, there's going to be some pirate shenanigans going on, and potentially, if you're looking for a paid opportunity to play, let me know.
And Bo.
Hi, I'm Candace. It has been lovely playing this game tonight. You can find me at that Candace Girl on Twitter, where I announce all my stuff. At Candace the Magnificent, pretty much everywhere else. I will be on Voidcat Gaming's channel on Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern, playing some occultation, doing some ghost hunting. I'm on 12-sided stories every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern, doing some Delta Green. Coming soon in November, I'll also be on 12-Sided Stories podcast doing Blades of Eversync. And then on November 4th, you can find me on Insight Check's channel, I believe, playing some Deadlands. And yeah, I'm also streaming sometimes on my own Twitch channel. So if you like video games that are not very scary and you enjoy ukulele covers, please come and see me. I'll probably be live this Friday with one of two of those. So
Huzzah! And I'm Kay Purcell. I've been your DM for the evening. You can find me on Twitter at KDamnFear. And what you couldn't see was behind the scenes David doing a whole lot of work. He is my co-DM and co-writer of this module, full rubber ducky in chat and on the twits. You can find me every other Wednesday on the Emergency Power Podcast. You can find both David and I every Tuesday on the Chaotic Wholesome Talk Show right here, and then here every Thursday. And I got some other stuff coming up soon, but look at my twits for that. We would like to give an extra special thank you to our mods, Salty Queer, Jason, Domokame, and Full Rubber Ducky. Also, I believe Kato, I don't remember what your Twitch handle is. Kato was hanging out and helping us mod, and also was Vitamixur. Yes, Vitamix, the spinning dwarf. I love the people I get to play with. And thank you to our sponsor, Idle Champions. Remember to use ! code in the chat to get yourself an Electrum chest. And to Bardly.io for the music, as well as Ghost Stories Incorporated. This was a heck of an episode. Thank you for spending your evening with us. I hope you had a good time. I hope you've got some theories going. And we'll be back next week to continue this story. Thank you so much for hanging out. Remember, be kind to yourself and be excellent to others.